This is the first meeting we've had. Daniel Beatty, Denny Collins, Mike Hughes, Josh Rogers, and XO, the mayor. He won't be here today, I don't think. But anyway, the first thing that we need to do is approval of July the 11th, 2022 minutes. It's on page 2. You've got a copy of it there.
Yeah.
And that's when the other commission, that was the other committee. So can I get a motion to approve those minutes? I'll give you a minute to look over them there.
I'll second.
Okay. Commissioner Josh there first. Okay, I appreciate all of you being here. I appreciate the mayor's mayor and Lori. Lori's good big help in the banner. We have one thing on the agenda today, and of course this was, I guess, the reason I called the meeting. We need to get this over with, I guess, and go ahead and get started. And if anything comes up, cause.
Mr. Chairman, I think, do we need to vote for these minutes to the approval? Yeah,
we do. I have a motion to approve them. I did. You did.
Josh had made the motion, I seconded it.
You seconded it, yeah. All in favor?
Aye.
Sorry. We'll get to it here in a minute. All righty. On Church Street, we have a building there they call the Archive Building, and y'all are familiar with that, where we chose to put our archives in that building. And what's been brought up is to put a sprinkler system in that building. So this is what we're going to discuss today. I'm going to give you some, before we start discussing, I'm going to give you some things on that. First of all, it's a 10,500 square foot building. And I've got mixed emotions on this, and that's what we need to go over, because if you put a sprinkler system in it, then you either have water or you have fire. So sometimes if you have fire, you're going to have water. And the cost of that sprinkler system on 10,000 estimated cost, okay? This is not a true cost because you'd have to beat it out. It's 10,500 square feet. It costs about $5 per square foot to put a sprinkler system in it, plus about $20,000 to put a water main into the building for the sprinkler system. So you're talking what, $75,000-$80,000 probably to put a system in there. So I guess we're just open for discussion. Okay, Mike.
Mr. Chairman, I'm assuming that would come out of the archive funds. How much money is in that budget or that line item at this time?
Lori. Okay.
So if you roughly, we'll say 80,000 just to say.
Yeah, that's just a rough estimate. That was just one. Of course, you'll get bids. You'd have to bid that out, So that's just I had one person just give me a ballpark figure what it might cost to get it done. So that's only requested. So we did it. We'd have to bid it out. So. Josh.
Mr. Chairman, if Lori, where did that number come from? The 174,000.
I requested the information from Renee Samples, our finance director, back early October. And a few years ago, and Mike, you might be able to help my memory. I think maybe about 6 years ago, the Bradley County Commission voted to establish an archive fund. The details of it, I'm not sure that I want to recall and be held to that number, but each lawsuit that is filed in Bradley County, there's a fee attached to it, and that goes into our archive fund, and it is maintained to provide whatever our archive needs may be.
And where is that archive fund listed in the budget? Is it
It's in one of the reserve funds.
Okay.
I have a listing in my office. I can't recall the exact number. It's one of the three numbers, the reserve account numbers, isn't it? I believe.
Yeah. Commissioner Rogers, if I may, this is something we passed a while back. It's basically any court case that comes to court, there's a $5 fee to that. This just it can only be used for archives. There's nothing else it can be used for. Over time, that amount's it's grown considerably, and we've used it. I think we used it for remodeling of the archives downstairs after the fire, in fact. And then we've used it several times at the archives over there for shelves or shelving and things of that nature, boxes, so on. But like I say, it's the only thing it can be used for is for the archives. So this would be, I would, without talking to the county attorney, I would assume this would fit within that realm of being able to use it.
I do have another question. Do the archives, do they have to stay as hard copies, or can they be digitally transmitted to be placed on servers that can be held, or do you have to have the actual hard copy of the archives?
There are different requirements for different documents. I know that adoptions and something else are forever documents that have to be hard copy. I know that the sheriff's office has a requirement to keep certain documents in hard copy form for a number of years, maybe around 20 years, something like that. But then there are some records that can be just immediately digitized. I know that the last few years, some of our departments have made a concerted push to try to get some documents digitized. Of course, that comes at a price too, so it's kind of, they try to do that as they can.
Which for the sheriff's department, there are certain records, arrest records, jail records you have to keep for 100 years, and it has to be an actual hard copy document. And she is talking about some adoptions. I'm trying to go through the things some of the things that are stored down there now. Divorce decrees, wills, things of that nature is kept as hard copies there. Again, I think there are certain things that we've tried to move digitally, but the majority of it has been kept. There's just certain items you have to keep as hard copy.
One final question, Mr. Chairman.
Yes, sir.
Is this adding the sprinkler system to this archive building, is this more of trying to protect the building, or is this more to try and protect the actual documents of the building? Because the issue is that and my kind of mindset of this is that if we have a fire, or we have smoke, or we have something of that nature, and these sprinklers go off, depending on how the archives are kept, which I'm sure they're kept how they're supposed to and stored properly. We saw that kind of here when this happened, is that, while we didn't have much fire here, we had tons of smoke, and it ruined documents and ledgers and things of that nature. And so I guess my concern is this the best? If we're trying to protect the building, then I totally understand why to put a sprinkler system in. But if we're working to try to create a plan or an option to be able to protect these archives, are there other type of things, fireproof boxes, fire safes, different things of that nature to protect the archives better than a $85,000, $75,000 sprinkler system? I guess that's just my question of what the money or what the idea of the sprinklers.
I guess probably, anybody else have anything on that?
Mr. Chairman, I'll be honest with you. I've thought about that myself, because as far as documents down there, they're basically stacked in banker boxes. They're extremely tightly packed. It's not just where they're just open and loose, so you don't have much airflow between them. And what little bit of knowledge I have on fires, you have to have oxygen to be able to fuel it, and if there's no oxygen, it's not going to burn too well. But I think you're looking at either way it goes, is there's gonna be damage one way or the other. If it's water damage, I would venture to say the water would probably damage more because it's gonna soak through where the flame would hit the outside of the box. I don't know how deep it'd go though from there. But I am by no way a fire, expert, so I couldn't tell you.
I
It's
totally
just my
understand.
limited knowledge.
What's the context of the sprinkler system? Like, how did this come to be? Was this something that was a code issue, or as Josh said, hey, we need to protect the documents? Like, what's the history of this, of the request for the sprinkler system?
It comes under the city there, I guess, and it's a county building, but it's in the city, the requirements. But I think if you build a new building or whatever, then you'd be required to put a sprinkler system probably, if it's commercial. Now, that I don't really have a correct answer for, but yeah, I know on a commercial building now, a lot of times you have to build one now, you gotta have a sprinkler system in before they pass it. Of course, this is an older building, and I guess that'll be our decision what to do there. Now, of course, we got a fire department right down the road, but that don't mean a lot either, it can, according to what happens, but anyway, it's, I don't know, it's a matter of water or fire. So, it's up to, Louis, would you?
If I remember right, Chairman, the downstairs, when we had stuff downstairs, if you might check with the lady that was over that, but I'm thinking that she had some kind of cover over the file cabinets, over the top of the file cabinets, so that if we did have a sprinkling system and it went off, it wouldn't go straight down onto the boxes and things. Somebody might want to check downstairs and see, or check with that lady, but I may be wrong, but I'm thinking she had some kind of cover over the top of the filing cabinets that they keep stuff in.
Yeah, I can probably help you. I know the shelving itself has covers over top of it, like just different levels of it. But you still have the open sides to that, and I know down there, their boxes stacked on top of the top level even, so could they be taken down? Probably, but you're still gonna have water damage coming in from the sides that are open. I believe it's the system we have, or the shelving down there, I do believe is the same as what they have there also, so it's.
Any more questions? What I would like to do is go ahead and put this thing for a vote. And, from this committee, a recommendation from this committee. And we can bring it before the full commission. And, money to be spent needs to go, if it's to be spent, needs to go through finance. And there's several things several steps we need to take before that would happen. But, and get a true cost, we'd have to get bids out and, whatever, but it's, like I say, approximately, I don't know, but that's a week ago, approximately, $75,000, somewhere in that neighborhood, $75,000, $80,000. So,
Mr. Chairman.
I'm gonna ask for, somebody to make a motion, to take this before the full commission.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, sir.
have we spoke with the fire department any at all to get their recommendations if it's something that's needed or not really
I
needed?
have spoke to the fire department. In fact, I asked the chief to be here today. I didn't remind him of me, and he's not here yet. But anyway, this would come under the city instead of the county, I guess. So that's what we'd have to do, is go through the county. And of course, if you look at it from your perspective or mine or anybody else's, either way is bad, water or fire. So it's just a decision you got to make if you want to spend the money to put water in it. And either way, you got problems.
Is the money that's allocated in this fund, does it serve a purpose outside of something like this? I mean, is there a need to have money in that fund We have $170,000. I mean, I guess depleting that by half, would that cause ramifications for a funding issue for some other need?
That fund can be used for anything dealing with archives. It could be, new furniture for the downstairs or wherever. Pretty much anything dealing with archives, boxes, shelving. So does it have, yes, it can, and if that makes sense.
Yeah. So it's just a question of, are we required to do this, or have we been requested to do this? I guess that's kind of where I'm
That
at.
was just a request that was brought up, and, so that's up to us to make that decision, the fire department or the state or marshal, anybody, as far as I know, hadn't give us no,
Yeah.
saying that we have to do it. And until they do, it's on our own.
At this time, keep in mind, it's unmanned. There's no one there. The most you're looking at right now is and Josh, you may be able to help me on this. If a sprinkler system goes off, if one was to go off, would all of them go off or just one? Because
Depends on the sprinkler system, but most of the time, yes. If one triggers, it depends if it's monitored or unmonitored. But some systems will just have one section that would go off if you had a fire in this building, in this room compared to the other. But if you're doing an entire kind of open, and I haven't been to the archives building, so I don't know how it's the floor and the design of it's laid out. But if it's a one continuous system, then yeah, most of the time it could all go off at the same time.
I can help you on that. The upstairs is open. It's like a gymnasium almost.
Yeah, that's kind of
The
what
downstairs is broken up into smaller locations. Still, it's open, but it's broken up into smaller locations with a divider between them. So.
And Commissioner Hughes, did you say that this building is unmanned, that there is no?
Unmanned, there's no one there. At this point, right now, it's just used as storage. And my concern reason for asking that was if there are more archives that's been kept in different locations for different departments. Some of this stuff is downstairs. And I would hate something to happen, well, we'll say downstairs, and then you have at least 2 different departments upstairs. So if one happened there, then you definitely you're gonna get water damage. Another location doesn't even have a fire in it or anything else. So that was another concern.
Mr. Chairman, question:
Yes,
Who requested this to happen? Was it the people at the archives building? Was it the mayor's office? Was it?
I think that came from somewhere on the commission here.
I'll try to answer that, and I can't remember a name now, but it was a commissioner. As I recall, the statement to me was, why don't we have a sprinkler system in the archives building? That took place about 2 months ago. I initially, because of Commissioner Ledford being on the archives, I referred it to him. Then it was suggested I bring it over to Building and Lands, which I did. My purpose was to address the issue head on, yay or nay, then we can move on with business. That's the background as I know it.
Mr.
Any more
Chairman,
questions? Yes, sir.
if you want a motion on that, I'll put it up for a motion.
Okay. Commissioner Hughes made a motion. Okay, what is the motion?
To install this sprinkler system in. I'll be honest with you, I will not vote in favor of this. I'm just bringing it up so that we can vote one way or the other.
Okay. We got a first and a second. Any discussion, any more discussion? All in favor say aye. All opposed?
No.
Unanimously, no. Okay, do we have anything else that we need to bring up? Land and building? Any problems? EMS problems or buildings? Courthouse? Okay, Mr. Lee.
I got a question, I guess. Why wouldn't we want to put a sprinkler system in that building? I don't understand why we wouldn't want to protect those records.
Well, like we said, it's either fire or sprinkler system, either one. If you have a fire, you're gonna have water. So that's only, I guess that's probably the answer.
Mr. Chairman, I can explain my
Yes,
vote
sir.
if you wish.
Yes, sir.
The reason I vote no on it is because I personally feel that there'd be less damage done by the fire than what there would be the water. Because if you have a sprinkler system that goes off in all locations, say that there was a fire in an enclosed area downstairs, then that's that area. That's not the entire building itself. So there are some of these areas that are separated off with brick walls and so on, so it would only be housed in one location. And I don't think with the fire personally, and this, like I said, it's just my personal feelings about it. I just don't think there'd be as much damage from the fire as what there would be from the water.
Why don't we just get fire chief to go down there and recommend one way or the other? Though they're the professionals. I think it would behoove us to at least get someone that knows about fire and water to
But if you're gonna
give
do,
us an idea anyway if we need it or not.
if you're gonna do that, you might as well get somebody electrical to go look at it too. Look at the electrical system.
Well, you know, the only thought that I had when I think of, you know, my documents at home, I think we all have documents at our house that we want to protect, and you know, you could spend $80,000 to do something probably more significant in terms of both water and fire damage and smoke damage to protect those documents. I guess that's the way I looked at it. Whether that was some type of housing, you know, for the documents, a safe, whatever. I think that $80,000 would be better spent in the protection of the documents beyond the sprinkler system, is my thought. That's a lot. $80,000 is a lot of money, you know, and that could get you a whole lot of protection for documents in a different avenue rather than just changing the way that the documents are destroyed, I guess is how I looked at it.
Yes, sir.
Sure. To the best of my knowledge at this time, I'd hate to answer that because I'm sure there are. I'm sure there are different types of fire suppressant systems that are out there. To kind of answer this question along with the question that was kind of asked by Commissioner Alford, I was kind of in the same boat. The request for me, it came from a commissioner, not the archives department or the mayor's office, who is over this, who's over the archives and the building itself. I kind of agree with Commissioner Collins here, is that, are we trying to protect the building or are we trying to protect the document? If we're trying to protect the documents, whether it's 75,000 or 175,000 is, I think, the number that was in the fund. I think those monies could be spent to do something a lot more constructive to take care of this. I mean, the bill, and to Commissioner Hughes' point as well, if it was a manned building, if there were people working there, I would have fully supported, because I believe that we need to protect our people, but if it's an unmanned building, that's an older building that wasn't the code at the time that it was placed. I think that the most important thing, while the building is very important, I think the documents are probably the most important thing in that building, because there's no lives in that building that are there 24/7 or throughout a 40-hour work week. And so I voted no because it was a vote to approve this, to send it on to finance. I would love for us, whether it's building and land, to reach out, like you said, Commissioner Alford, to the fire department, have them look at it. I'd love to talk to sprinkler systems and companies and get quotes on it. I'd love to talk to the archives director and have them come and speak with us about what their goal and what their hope is. But to just up and approve $80,000 in 20 minutes without having any information or knowledge about what the actual plan of action is supposed to be, that was the reason for my no vote today. But I'm not opposed to looking more into this and figuring out exactly what the goal and the hope of this is, and what type of systems there are available to us, what type of shelving, boxing, safe types of things are available to this, to where we can make the best decision for these documents. Because I do agree with you, we do need to protect these documents. It's important. But just throwing it up in 80,000, and that's a very safe cost, because it being an older building, it being a building that comes with probably a lot of different needs and a lot of different drilling and piping, it will cost a lot of money, and I think there might be other options available to us. So, Mr. Chairman, that's kind of an all-around answer of why.
Okay, I agree with that. Does everybody agree with that?
Yes, sir.
Probably is go dig further into it and see what we've got, what options we have. Of course, right now, what the options we had was either spend the money or not spend the money to have a sprinkler system, or leave it to fire or whatever. But we'll, Lori, we'll get somebody from the fire department, and also somebody that installs sprinkler systems, and maybe we can get a better answer to both of these, and go from there, and set up another meeting. Yes, sir, Mr. Officer.
A couple of the new ones. I don't know if you've been in the building, have you?
I have not.
So you can't make an honest opinion until you
Sure.
actually go down to the building
Sure.
and see it. And
Yeah.
as far as trying to put it in a certain protective area,
Right.
looking at that building, I don't know that that would be a possibility. You'd spend probably 200,000 to
Yeah.
put those in some kind of vault. So I
Yeah,
think
I'd like
y'all
to
need
see
to go
that.
see
Absolutely.
the building too.
Absolutely.
It would be important. And the other question, I guess, is if you went downstairs to the archives downstairs, you'll see that when we redid the courthouse, they put water system in that building, or downstairs. They got a sprinkler system. And the lady down there told me back when that they had those covers, like Mr. Hughes said. That was the reason, because the water would hit and go off
Right.
instead of going down,
Right down
into
on the
the
dock.
thing. So anyway, that would just be a suggestion, Chairman. I appreciate you. Thank you for the time.
Yes, sir. What's the wish of this committee? Do you want to do what we were talking about? Somebody from the fire department, sprinkler system, and have another building land committee, and we might need to take a trip down there and look at the building and see how it's laid out. But it's laid out. It's like Mr. Officer said. It's the way it's laid out. Why it'd be hard unless you do upstairs and downstairs. You have to do it all. So anyway,
Mr. Chairman, I'd also like to request that the archives director, or the people who are over the archives department, along with the mayor's office, be at that meeting
Okay.
as well, so we can ask them questions and get their thoughts and information on it as
Okay.
well.
is that suitable with everybody? Yeah, have a motion that we do that.
Make a motion.
Motion. Second. All in favor?
Yes.
Any opposed? Okay. We'll do that, and, are there anything else we need to bring up? We'll just wait till we get these people together, and maybe we'll have some answers on this thing. And, any other problems? No problem at all in the county, in the building. Yes, sir.
I didn't mean to take over the meeting, but
No, you're okay.
has anyone had a report on the fire hall over at Wildwood yet lately? I know we'd finished the outside. Might ask the mayor where we are on the inside, because they're supposed to revamp the whole inside too. That building and land. I'm pretty sure they finished the outside, hadn't they?
What was the last report we got on that, Lori? Wasn't that? I thought it was finished.
It's been a while.
Yeah. I think it, I know the doors had to be redone, they got that done. Yeah. Okay. We'll find out, we'll get with EMS and find out if everything was completed on that. I know, like I said, I know they got the doors fixed, and that was part of the exterior and the interior there, where those were. And the outside, the water problems and stuff. Anything else? Okay.
Mr. Chairman,
That committee. You're chairman. Okay.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes,
in the
sir.
previous building and land committee meeting from the former commission, in the last minutes, it stated about the need for commissioners and Republic Services, to where the new road superintendent would have the training for the landfill, for the monitoring system and all that. And that probably might fall underneath the landfill committee. I don't know if that would fall under building and land, but just a curiosity from the previous minutes, if that ever took place, and that if our new road superintendent was able to get all the training that he needed to have, make sure he's being able to do the best job.
Lori.
Is it okay? Okay. Superintendent Collins has spoken with EnviroSuite, and we're trying to schedule a time for some more training. However, in the meantime, Troy Spence, the EMA director, has come on the scene and helped resolve some technical issues with some monitors and that kind of thing. And he's also hopefully going to be trained on the monitor. So I think it's going to be a collaborative effort moving forward. I know that I did send to you all, I believe, the October and the September and a piece of August reports. And I'll continue to do that monthly. EnviroSuite, I reminded them that the contract provided for them to send to us regular reports. And so as I receive those at the beginning of each month for the previous month, I'll continue to forward those to you. But I believe right now, as long as we've got the reports and communication with them with any problems that arise, and when we have Troy on the scene helping resolve these technical issues, I think we're in pretty good shape right now. I did hear from Kenneth Roark this weekend, but he's since told me that he's good with it. It looks like they're all monitoring. He also has access to the website and can look at the reports. So I think we're okay right now. I can't say how much Superintendent Collins is going to be involved with it at this point, but I think we've got eyes on it, and you all are going to get the reports, and we have technical help that we need. So I feel pretty good about.
Thank you. I just wanted to make sure that Superintendent Collins was able to get all the stuff he needed to, because I know there were some issues in the past where he couldn't get into some accounts like that.
Anything else? Okay, what we'll do then, we'll set another meeting at that meeting we'll have the fire department and somebody from archives, and also from that installs sprinkler systems. Sir. Okay. We'll have that all together, and then we'll set up another meeting and go back over this again before the meeting might be. Motion. We've already made a motion to do that, but we can we'll wait till the next meeting. We can take care of that. So, anything else? Building land? We're adjourned.